everyone, and Stelline. My name is Emmeline and you're watching ETA to Z on Arts TV. Today I am standing in front of the monument to the Lion of Judah. About a century ago, in 1929, Empress Zewde II and Prince Regent Tafari Mekonnen, who was to become Haile Selassie, inaugurated Addis Ababa's first train station at this very place. The previous emperor, Menelik II, wanted to give his empire an opening to the Red Sea, but he passed away before the completion of the works. It took 20 years for the French to build the 780-kilometer-long railroad linking Addis Ababa to Djibouti city. Today, we're gonna meet the last living memories of the railway. Let's embark on the tracks of Ethiopian history. Bonjour des bébés.
Alors ça va?
Ça va, merci, et toi?
Moi c'est très bien, ça va.
Dis-moi.
You never get tired of telling people about this train that Ethiopians hold so dear?
Je lâche jamais avec l'histoire, je me défère avec les Ethiopiens.
I never get tired of telling the story of the Ethiopian railway because it's such a good memory to me. I have lived in this neighborhood since I was young. I could hear the train whistle from the age of 3.
You are an Imperial car specialist.
Ouais.
Ces voitures impériales ne sont
Today, the Imperial cars are no longer here. They are located in the Presidential Palace, which will soon be open to the public.
bientôt ouverts au public. Quelle était l'anecdote?
What was your favorite story to tell tourists?
De 4 voitures impériales, de 2 wagons sont construits par la Franco-Belge.
Of the 4 imperial cars, 2 were built by the Société Franco-Belge. They were gifts from Charles de Gaulle. And the 2 other cars, which were gifts from Queen Elizabeth, were built in Paris. The cars had the ventilation system, a kitchen and a dining room. They were vintage materials on which were written air conditioning in French and Amharic.
Quand les Ethiopiens viennent,
When Ethiopians come to see this imperial car, when they see it, they are very happy.
ils sont très contents. Pourquoi ils ont écrit en français en amérique? Le garde du corps,
Why did they write in French and Amharic? The bodyguard doesn't speak French. If the mechanic gets sick, he can touch the button.
le deuxième.
I also enjoy telling the story of the kitchen. When tourists came to visit the imperial cars, they were very happy to see the kitchens that work with wood fire, diesel and electricity.
Électrique. C'est drôle ça.
That's funny, right? And then there are the rooms. The room of Queen Elizabeth, the room of Emperor Haile Selassie, and the room of Menen, the Empress of Ethiopia.
La reine éthiopienne. Au milieu, qu'est-ce qu'il y en a?
In the middle, what do we have? A toilet made of marble.
Des toilettes de luxe.
Luxury toilets.
Avec d'eau qui tombe. Le quatrième, que j'oublie pas.
The fourth anecdote I will never forget. Queen Elizabeth came to Ethiopia for 3 days. 2 days in Addis, 1 day in Massawa, Asmara, and she left. But Haile Selassie, he had been to London 15 times. The imperial cars were a gift for Haile Selassie's 25th birthday.
Certes, de Haile Selassie. Ça, c'était une grosse histoire.
That's a great story. I will never forget it in my life.
Et est-ce que tu as l'impression
Do you feel that this story is being told enough to Ethiopians nowadays?
connu des Éthiopiens?
C'est passé.
It's not enough.
Aujourd'hui,
Today, the former railway workers are the guardians of this memory. Aren't you afraid that this history will vanish with the loss of elders?
disparaissent avec eux.
Oui, j'ai peur un petit peu. Mais
I am a little bit afraid, but I have my tactics.
je lâche.
I collect a lot of documents. Documents, photos, tickets, and I ask questions to the old railway workers.
Où je le demande? Il y a un club cheminot.
There is the Railway Men's Club. All the retired railway workers meet there to play pétanque. I ask them and I write.
Shall we go to the Railway Men's Club?
D'accord? D'accord, merci.
Ça va?
Ça va?
C'est à l'Ethiopienne.
Bon, merci beaucoup de bébé.
Merci, moi aussi.
Shamsou, comment ça va?
Ça va, 5 sur 5.
Où sommes-nous?
Nous sommes, c'est-à-dire au club des cheminots.
We are at the Railway Men's Club. This is the petanque pitch. All the bulls land here. It was built by friends.
Le club des cheminots, c'est l'un des...
The Railwaymen's Club is one of the few places in Addis Ababa where you can hear Ethiopians speaking French. Was learning the language of Molière mandatory to become a railway worker?
Obligatoire pour devenir cheminot.
Pour travailler, oui. Pour travailler, c'est-à-dire pour être embauché.
To work, yes. To be hired at the French Ethiopian Railway, it was mandatory.
Est-ce que vous pouvez me dire...
What was your job back then?
Je suis un technicien
I am a senior technician, second degree engineer in electromechanics.
mécanique.
How many years did you work on the old railway?
22 years.
What do you remember about this train?
Toujours je l'ai. Je suis un Français.
I always say that I am a Frenchman. That means my way of living, the way I speak, the way I play.
Même la façon de jouer...
Even the way of playing pétanque, which is another legacy of France?
Yes, and the conversations in the French way.
Les blagues...
The jokes?
The jokes. I'm free and democratic. I have been nicknamed the devil.
Why are you called the devil?
Parce que, premièrement, j'ai dit la vérité.
First of all, I tell the truth. A jerk for me is a jerk. A thief is a thief. I say it to his face.
So you have inherited this freedom of thought.
That's it.
Il y a beaucoup de touristes français qui viennent.
There are many French tourists who come to see us. It was so fun. We were very happy. Every Frenchman put his feet here.
And since then, nothing?
After the COVID, no.
Perhaps we will make other French people want to come and see you.
Venir vous voir.
If a French person ever comes here, 100% he comes here, at the petanque pitch.
Between us, who plays better between the French and the Ethiopians?
Ethiopians.
Why?
Because we practice every single day. For example, I play 4 hours a day.
So you are a champion.
C'est moi le champion.
I am the champion.
Do you point or shoot?
I point.
Merci beaucoup. Merci Shamsou.
I now invite you to travel back in time to a city that would probably not have existed without this historic railroad.
Today we are in Deredawa, a town that exists thanks to the development of the initial Addis Ababa-Djibouti railway. The railway was supposed to pass through the commercial hub of Harar, about 50 kilometers from here. But due to the complexity of the terrain and high development costs, Deredawa became the critical stop on the line. Deredawa used to bear the name of Addis Harar, the new Harar, and is now the second largest city in Ethiopia. Larger than Harar itself, let's visit the Deredawa train station, inaugurated back in 1917. Ato Fentaoun Bekele.
Oui, c'est moi.
Yes, it's me.
Cette gare,
You know this station very well, don't you?
Oui, je suis grandi ici.
Yes, I grew up here. I grew up here by the railroad.
And you were a train driver.
Oui, j'étais conducteur.
I drove the passenger train and the freight train to Djibouti and Addis Ababa.
Djibouti et direction Addis Abeba.
racontez-moi.
Tell me about the railway time.
C'est joli et aussi c'est mal.
It's nice and bad at the same time.
Why?
Because there used to be a lot of trains here. 8 trains were going out per day. Passenger and freight trains. 4 trains to Djibouti and 4 to Addis Ababa.
Sens direction de Djibouti et 4 trains direction de Addis Abeba. Donc, on conduit ces trains.
So we drove 8 trains per day. There were 20 drivers and 20 assistant drivers. We drove in pairs.
20 air conducteurs. Nous, on conduit pair.
We transported coffee, vegetables. The main thing is cat, because Djiboutians want cat.
Les Djiboutiens, ils veulent la cat.
What is cat?
La cat, c'est chat.
We chew the green leaves.
Feuille vert, là.
These green leaves have psychoactive properties.
Yeah, it's like a drug. So we transported coffee, vegetables, cat, even dromedaries. There was a dromedary wagon.
Même aussi les dromadaires.
Aujourd'hui, le vieux train
Today, the old train leaves from this Deredawa station once a week and goes to the end of the line, to Dewele, its final stop, at the border with Djibouti.
Yes, before there were 2 trains on Tuesday morning and Saturday morning, but the railway was not clean and comfortable, so we removed 1 per day. There is now only 1 passenger train per week on Saturday morning.
Seul samedi matin, il y a un train qui sort par semaine.
Combien de temps ça prend d'aller
How long does it take to get from Dewele to Deredawa and the other way around?
Avant, quand le travail est très propre,
Before, when the railway was clean and comfortable, from here to Dewele, it takes about 5 hours,
à peu près 5 heures.
because the passenger trains were running at 80 kilometers per hour. For the freight train, we drove at 50 kilometers per hour. And now, the railroad is not clean, and it is not comfortable. So we're exposed to derailment if we go around 40 to 50 kilometers per hour.
Déraillement.
So, how fast can you drive?
20 km, 25 km.
20 to 30 kilometers, because it is not comfortable. Because it dances like this. Our departure here is at 6 a.m. and we return around 6 p.m. from Dewele back to Deredawa.
Ok, Émilie,
Would you like to visit the workshops?
It would be my pleasure.
Okay, I'm available.
Let's go.
nous avons ici 3 départements. Le premier, c'est atelier.
We have 3 departments. The first one is the workshop with all the bolts and nuts.
On fait ici à l'atelier. Le deuxième
The
département,
second department is the maintenance of the wagons. If there is a problem under the trailer, we repair them.
sur la remorque. Le troisième, c'est dépôt.
The third is a depot. If there is damage on the locomotives, we repair them there.
Fentahoun,
Oui.
We have just visited the workshops. What does that say to
qu'est-ce que
you?
ça vous inspire?
Le chemin de fer, c'est comme école.
The railway is like a school. It is not a company. It gave us a lot of training and apprenticeships. Electricians, train drivers, engine specialists, carpenters. There are many professions here.
Il y a beaucoup de métiers ici.
Quand on se balade dans les ateliers,
When you walk around the workshops, you can see that the machines are rusty. The wagons too.
They are exposed to the sun, the wind, the rain. There are no renovations because we're short of money. There's not enough money to paint the locomotives or the wagons.
La locomotive ou bien
As you can see, look in front of you, or behind too. They are under the sun, so they are rusty. They are out of order now.
Ce chemin de fer franco-éthiopien, il y avait beaucoup de Français qui avaient travaillé ici.
This French-Ethiopian railroad, many French people worked here in Ethiopia, so it's part of the French government's legacy, the French people's legacy. Many workers are well experienced. We have worked for more than 18 years, 20 years, 35 years. We've dispersed, looking for better jobs and a better salary.
En cherchant le meilleur travail et meilleur salaire. Donc, pour réanimer ce chemin de fer, je vous
So to revive this railroad, inform the government of France and the French Minister of Transport, we are ready to work.
Transport de France. Nous sommes prêts de travailler.
que pensez-vous du
What do you think of the train built by the Chinese whose tracks run parallel to the old railway line?
chemin de fer française?
Le train de chinois, il n'y a pas de communication avec les populations d'Éthiopie. Entre Djibouti et Addis Ababa, il y a 36 stations. Donc,
With the Chinese train, there's no communication between the people of Ethiopia. Between Djibouti and Addis Ababa, there are 36 stops. So the old railway brought to life every 36 stations. Some traders sold oranges, bananas, and mangoes.
le manque de train de chinois,
The Chinese train does not give service in each stop. It passes through the desert.
il passe dans le désert.
You also told me that they did not make use of the experience of the former Ethiopian railway workers at all.
On a demandé
We asked to be transferred there to work with the Chinese. They never agreed. They refused to take us. They brought other workers.
autres travailleurs.
That's a pity.
Oui, c'est dommage là.
Yes, it's a pity because the old railway workers are sad. We're Ethiopians and we're experienced, so we must work with the Chinese. I have almost 10 years of experience. Some people have 20 years of experience, so they refused. We're sorry. The Chinese train does not give us an advantage.
Nous sommes désolés, vraiment. Pas d'avantage pour nous, nous a donné pas d'avantage pour nous, le train de chinois.
Does it make you sad?
Très triste. Je suis très désolé.
Very sad. I'm not the only one to think this way. It is all the railway workers, from Djibouti to Addis Ababa.
Un grand merci,
Ok,
Fetaoun.
au revoir.
Merci.
À la prochaine. Au revoir. Revenez.
Please come back.
It would be my pleasure.
Merci.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of ETA to Z. See you all next time.